Ha, they say that my rise to the top is long overdue. I'm just trying to cop a 3-star Goku suit. Or better yet, a Senketsu that fits over loose. Equipped with a light fiber microphone, my flow the truth. Don't let these haters rule over you like the student council. Cause if they see you making moves, then they'll never doubt you. Keep that scissor blade sharper than a surgeon's scalpel. I'm hungry like a back alley doc eating by the mouthful.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Pulling the Trigger on a Podcast. I'm Fire Princess Lily, and I'm joined, as always, by my friend, Doc Sea Monster. How you doing, Doc?
Just fine. I had a pretty good day.
That's good. What have you been up to since we last recorded this podcast? It's been a couple weeks.
Well, let's see. I've been cooking at like friends' houses more.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm cooking at my mom's house and one of my friends' houses, and been having fun doing that because I really enjoy cooking. Been doing some writing, getting some writing done. DMing my online games, which has been nice. Watching anime. Been catching up on JoJo, and I believe I'm up to date on my next episode of Villainous. I think next I might check out Konosuba because I'm not really much for isekai mostly, but it seems like a good kind of trashy time.
I have no opinions on Konosuba.
No opinions as in you'd rather not say, or no opinions as if you don't know anything about it?
The only thing I know about Konosuba is there was a movie, and the main character gets the hots for a woman, right? And she turns out to be the villain, which is fine. That's not his problem. His problem with her is he also finds out that she has a penis. That's no good. That's what sucks. Now that she's evil, but she has a penis. Super attracted to her until then, but once a penis shows up on a woman that he didn't know had one, attraction right out the window. And she's evil too, so you know.
Yes. The time-honored tradition of being shitty to intersex people.
I mean, I think the character might be intersex or they might be trans. It's one of the two, and it doesn't matter.
What I was told about the character was that she was intersex.
Well, it's still sucky.
It is. Because there's about as many intersex people as there are redheads.
Yeah. So.
I think now that I say the character actually is redheaded, but that's not what I meant.
It's a conspiracy. I don't know where I was going with that. What else has been up?
Nothing. It's still the apocalypse. Nothing is happening. Everything is vague. Every day is the same as the last day, and every next day is the same as the day before it and after it. So, aside from recording these podcasts and DMing, that's all I have to track the days.
Fair enough. So you didn't hear about the school that reopened and had to close immediately?
Oh, which one?
I only know about a one.
Because I've seen a few variations on that story. I'm sure there was one that absolutely just snapped back closed, but like
apparently a school in Indiana, a junior high in Indiana, they opened for a day and immediately all the students had to be quarantined because one of them tested positive for the coronavirus. It's almost like this was a bad idea. Like immediately.
Neoliberalism was a mistake.
You know, lots of mistakes. Let's see, what's going on with me? Work, as always. How I always start. I work. I work a lot. I don't have to work overtime next week, and that makes me happy. I thought I was going to have to do 12-hour shifts. I do not. Somebody else is taking over for the other person that's not going to be there, so it doesn't fall on me. So I don't care. Let's see. What else is going on? Watched the first episode of Brand New Animal, which I said I wasn't going to do, but, you know, I'm curious, and good animation is good animation, so what are you going to do? Sure. And there are people out there who are like, this isn't furry. This isn't a furry anime. No. It is. I'm sorry that you're in denial. And I gotta be honest, if you've made a Beastman OC, an OC for that anime, I mean, good for you. But what you've made is a fursona. That's what you made. Deal with it.
Anime has been producing, furry characters for 40 years.
Oh, easily.
And see what I think what's widely considered the first one is Mighty Monster of Nature Buggy, which premiered in '84.
Yeah, I got no idea on that.
Widely considered the first cat girl.
Ah.
So 36 years, and that's just what is considered one of the earliest. So like, anime is full of fucking talking animal characters and animal-eared characters and everything in between.
Yeah, true. I mean, this one is just very specifically like animal people.
Yeah. And being shitty about furries was like an old meme in like 2008. You're out of date, bro.
Yeah, and I mean, it never went away.
Yeah, but it got trite and it's been trite and cliche for a long time.
It was cliche when it first showed up, but that's beside the point.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah. What else have I been watching? Watch that. I'm trying to think if there's any other anime that I watched. I don't think there is.
Yeah.
No. I did watch the second season of The Umbrella Academy in 2 days.
Good stuff?
Yeah, it's good stuff, and I need a third season, like, already.
Mm-hmm.
A third season should be happening already. I should already have access to it, because the way it ends is just insane. Have you watched The Umbrella Academy at all?
No.
I could not suggest it to you more. I think you'd really get a kick out of it.
I mean, it's not my list of things to watch. My list of things to watch keeps getting new stuff and keeps changing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's anime I've been meaning to watch for like 6 years.
All right. I feel ya.
Hold on. All right, 8 years. There's a show that came out 8 years ago that I've never finished, that my partner has been bothering me to finish since then.
Fair enough. Let's see. I mean, I can't say a lot. Me and my wife haven't finished since 8. Like, we only have one more episode and the movie to go. And we haven't sat down and done that. And it's been 4 years, so, you know.
Sense8, I never really got the fizz from Sense8.
That's fair. Let's see, what else? Wrestling, which of course we were going to talk about. I watch wrestling. I don't know if you listen to this podcast regularly, and I don't know that anybody does. So I watch wrestling, and you know that. So here we go. Wrestling was like, it was good, but it was also not good. Not as bad as, let's say, airing somebody's promo in the middle of a match. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it also wasn't much better than that. So, I've obviously talked to you about the women's tag tournament that AEW is setting up, correct?
Yeah.
We've been over that. Come to find out this week that it is gonna be on YouTube. That's right. We've set up this big important storyline, quote unquote, on TV, and we're not even putting it on TV. We're putting it on YouTube. And that bugs the shit out of me. Like, I'm gonna watch it because, you know, I'm invested in the women, but it's like, people like to say that in wrestling you have to earn TV time with your talent. You have to be, like, you know, show how talented you are in order to get on TV. But the problem is, if you don't give people the time to show their talent, they can't do that. And I am more than willing to understand that they only have 2 hours of TV time a week. I get that. And that's generally 5 matches and some segments. Cool. There are other matches that could be taken out of the card and replaced with women's matches so easily. A good example is that, or even just like, they could take out some segments and add in like an entirely other match. They don't even have to take out other matches. They can just, you know, remove some segments, especially since, like, last week, the match between, or I guess this week, the match between Hikaru Shida and Diamante, which wasn't a title shot for no reason, but that's a whole other kettle of fish. From entrance to end, it was 8 minutes long. The 10-man tag team match, which was an absolute mess. And they're going to do a 12-man tag next week, which I'm not like, that's so, I don't, Besides the point, the 10-man tag, which, like I said, was a complete complete mess, and at most points, not even that fun, to be honest. That had like 15 minutes of time, and it wasn't that fun. I mean, I watched it, it was okay, but I felt it was a total mess, and that got more time than the only women's match on the card. It's so, just like, it feels like, and I can't say this enough, like, I don't think AEW, and they will still say it anyway, they've been on record of saying, oh, we have, you know, the best women's division, you know, in the world, or one of the best women's divisions in the world. It's not even, like, the only other company I can think of it being over is New Japan Pro Wrestling, and that's only because New Japan Pro Wrestling doesn't have a women's division at all, period. That's it. That's the only company you're above, and that's because you just have women. Like, you're not doing good as far as, like, featuring women, showcasing them, giving them spotlight and time. You suck. And it really sucks, and I really hate it. And I don't know, because as I've mentioned, women's wrestling is very important to me. It's one of the reasons that I got back into wrestling at all. Is because women were being like having like serious matches being taken seriously. Because when I watched wrestling as a kid, women got relegated to bra and panty matches. Like, you know, the first person to strip their opponent down to their bra and panties wins. And that's so disgusting. Like on a monumental scale. And I know that there's somebody out there right now who watches wrestling, who happens to be listening to this podcast for whatever reason, who wants to be like, oh, well, you just couldn't handle, you know, the Attitude Era. Like, well, fuck you, all right? The Attitude Era was just fine. Like, me wanting women to be respected and treated like real people and not just objects doesn't mean I couldn't handle the era. It means it was wrong, dipshit. Insulting somebody who might not even be listening. But they're out there. And if they come across this podcast, I want them to know that they're dipshits. So, that is what that is. But, yeah, that's my current problem, is I just feel like, you know, there is definitely a stigma to women's wrestling that was perpetuated by the WWE for years that has to be overcome, and you're not overcoming it by giving women one match a week and only 8 minutes of TV time to showcase what they can do. And putting this all-important tournament, this thing that you've built up to be like, oh, we're going to do this thing, and it's going to be kind of cool. People don't actually get to pick their own tag partners. They're like drawing lots. Like, that's interesting. I would love to see that on TV, but you're not going to. You're putting it on YouTube. Meanwhile, you're a company that that highlights tag team wrestling. When you started, that's what you said you were going to do. We're going to highlight tag team wrestling. We're going to make it important again, which is cool. I'm about that. Absolutely. But that's the company you are. You're the tag team wrestling company. Why does FTR, a new tag team in the division, need a tag team appreciation day that they get to host when you already showcase and prioritize tag team wrestling? That just feels like somebody, you know, sucking their own dick. It feels pointless. It feels like you're just it feels like they're congratulating themselves. I hate it. There have been things about FTR in the company that I don't like. Such as going on the Jim Cornette podcast, but I've already talked about that. But it just feels like they feel real fucking self-important to themselves. And maybe that's the point. Maybe they're supposed to get under my skin, and they're doing a really good job at it. Maybe I don't understand the appeal of FTR, because they're not bad wrestlers. They're really good. You know, I definitely would not say they don't have talent. They just kind of suck on other levels. So, that's that. Next week, Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy are going to have a debate on TV. I don't know if I've ever explained Orange Cassidy to you, Nathan, and what his gimmick is.
You have.
Okay, so I would like somebody at AEW to explain to me why the guy whose gimmick is to stand around and say nothing is having a debate on TV, which will probably last at least 10 minutes. It'll probably be a 10-minute segment of Jericho shouting at Orange Cassidy, and I want to know why that couldn't have been a women's match. There's not been a women's match announced for this card next week, and I am just like, it's on thin ice. The promotion is on thin ice with me. That's all I'm saying. Let's talk about, you're bored out of your mind, I can tell. Let's talk about Kill la Kill, shall we?
I'd love to, but real quick, is my audio okay?
Yeah, your audio is fine.
Sorry, my headphones are doing something weird. Might have to get a new pair soon. But that's neither here nor there. So we are on episode
11.
And I'm excited to talk about this episode because, as I've said several times, this is one of my favorite runs of sections as like story arcs from the series, and I really like this episode and a lot of elements of it. So let's get to it.
We watched episode 11. I'm Not Your Cute Woman. We open with a loudspeaker. What? Hold on. Why aren't my subtitles on? Oh no, they are. Okay. Here we go. We open on the town watching Ryoko's fight. They're watching the recorder missiles, and there's a girl who we're gonna find out who she is in like 15, 20 minutes or so. Walking through town, she seems unbothered by what the ongoings of the town. She's just kind of skipping along, wearing pink, holding a parasol, and then we cut back to them watching Ryuko fight on the TV. She's just transformed into Senketsu Shippu, and like it keeps cutting back to the sign that says 10 minutes for 100 yen. And we get the closing scene of Nonon calling Ryuko a stinking bitch before the TV is kind of... Oh, no, the TV doesn't get turned off yet. But the girl with the pink parasol stops to watch for a second to note that everybody seems to be having so much fun. And that's when... Go ahead.
Can I do a quick aside? Okay, so the TV is like 1,000 yen or 100 yen for like 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so 100 yen is about $1 roughly. Because a yen is about roughly a cent. I saw this thing the other day of it was like a meme of someone saying, "I bet I can go to Japan and hire a prostitute for like 1,000 yen."
For $10, you could do that here.
I checked the exchange rate. That's like $9.50.
Yeah. When I lived in Austin, my roommate was a emergency tech at St. John's, St. David's, wherever. And one of their regular patients was a woman who charged $5 for having sex with people, and it convinced her to increase her price to 10. So you don't have to go to Japan to hire a $10, $9 prostitute, sex worker. Sorry, you could do that right here in this country. They should definitely value themselves more, but you don't have to like spend $700 to go to Japan to do it. That seems bad. Seems bad, my guy. That's not good money. That's not good money management. I'm sorry. Was there anything else to that, or?
No, it just seemed weird to me. It's like it seemed like the smugness of it, the way it was presented.
I feel you.
It's like,
we get the title card, and we cut through the opening. Skip the intro. We cut back to the fight. Ryoko's being chased by Nonon, who's like super pissed. She's like, "You can't stop my performance just because you can fly. I want to kick your ass." And Ryoko's like, "Yeah, whatever, performance, blah." So Katsu's like, "Come on, we gotta get close to attack." And Ryoko's like, easier said than done. But she does fly under the clouds and then round over and gets to the top of Nonon's uniform. And she starts cutting a big hole, like just in a big line across the top. To which Nonon busts out more speakers to blast her off of her Symphony Regalia. We cut over to Maka, who's like, "Whoa, this is so cool, Ryuko, you're flying, that's awesome." But we've also found out that she's standing on top of Gamagori, and she's like, "Oops, that was bad." She's like, "I made Gamagori angry, that's not good." No, she says, "I almost made him angry." To which Imamura's like, "No, he is angry." And Gamagori's screaming at Nonon, like, "You lost air support superiority already, you fucking suck." And we cut back to the fight. So Ryuko changes courses from Nonon, and Senketsu's like, what are you doing? He's like, I can just go attack Satsuki now. Why would I even care about this dumb fight if I can go straight for Satsuki? To which she gets blown out of the way by, of course, Nonon is like, you do not touch Satsuki. How dare you try to get between me and Lady Satsuki? It's very straight. She tells Ryuko that she's out of her league. And Ryuko's like, the hell with your opinion? I'll make my own path no matter what anybody else says. And she's like, and y'all know that you're a sour note, all right, and I'm going to, like, get rid of you. Have a taste of this. Have Symphony Regalia Music Barrage. And she is just, like, firing all kinds of missiles and lasers and sound notes. It's crazy. There are all kinds of explosions. But Ryuko catches one of the missiles and throws it right back at Nonon, which she just stands there and takes? Which is really weird to me. I feel like she could have blasted it away. But it gets lodged in the Symphony Regalia and causes it to explode. There are musical instruments flying everywhere. Mako knocks into Imamoto's computer, and he's like, do not fucking touch my laptop. If it breaks, I'm gonna fucking I'll murder you. You will die. And she has a great line of saying, Inu at the front gate, Gamma at the back, which is dog and toad. I'm in a fight of my own down here. She's like, you can do it, Ryuko. I'm fighting hard too. We cut back to the fight, and Nonon is catching up out of the rubble, and she's like, oh, I can't believe that she fucking did that shit. Ryuko is like hovering over her, like, haha, you can't fly anymore. That's awfully inconvenient for you. And she starts zipping around and beating on Nonon as she flies through the air. And Nonon's like, wait, if I can't fly anymore, isn't it cliche that you come down here and challenge me? Huh? And Ryuko's like, nope, you gotta go all the way when you win, otherwise it'll come back to bite you. So, nah, not doing that.
Yeah, Ryuko has no honor.
No, she tries for her fiber loss attack, which I can't pronounce.
Send the associates.
Yeah, that. And it looks like Nonon gets knocked off the stage. And everybody's like, oh yeah, she did it! Woo! And we cut back to the crowd watching on TV. And Mako's father's like, wow, that was over faster than I expected it to be. They're like, yeah. We also see the biker guy drive by in the background. We cut back to Ryuko, who's like looking down at Senketsu, and she's like, what is the matter? She's like, I didn't achieve that special move. I did not absorb any life fibers from her uniform. Did not happen. And she's like, what? And this is when we look up at Sasuke. She's like, you underestimate the Elite Four at your own peril, Ryuko Matoe. Like, people in the audience start clapping for an encore. They're shouting, encore, encore. Which seems really weird, because, you know, it looks like to everybody that Nonon lost. And Ryoko's like, encore, what? What are you talking about? And, even Mako is shouting encore. She's like, what? What am I doing? What is that? What's an encore? To which Nonon suddenly reappears on top of, like, a stage under her to reveal another transformation. The Goku Uniform Symphony Regalia de Capo. And she looks like a marching band leader. Yeah. With a really big hat. It is the biggest hat in the show.
Yes. Jaeger monsters would be proud.
Yes, they would. Good reference. Biggest hat means you're the smartest. She's like, for my final tune, known to children everywhere, Beethoven's Symphony No. 5, Fate. And I've said it before, she has like the best facial animations in this show. Honestly, she just looks so smug and determined here, and I like it. But the hat has a big gun at the center of it, and it extends outwards and shoots what can only be described as like a Kamehameha wave of music.
Yeah, it is a sound cannon.
It is a sound cannon, and she's like, I don't know, I've just gotten started. And it is playing Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. Give me 1 second. I do need to pause.
Okay.
Unpause. So, Ryoko's like, what is going on, Taiketsu? Why are we having trouble, like, dealing with this? Your connection is, like, weak. And he's like, the music is so loud, I can barely hear you. And it's, like, fucking with our shit. If you all recall, for the last couple of weeks, I have been saying that this show has been less horny on Ryoko.
Yeah, that's gone now.
That's gone now. We are... Because the angle for this shot is not amazing. It is under her, and it's just wild titties flapping all over the place because of, like, the vibrations of this music. They are, like, in full-on, we are horny for Ryoko mode.
Oh, yeah.
Nonon says, I see that you're confused. The rhythmic blast of my Goku uniform resonates with the targeted life fibers, manipulates them, and inflicts damage. She's like, that's the power of my Symphony Regalia de Capo. You've been reduced to a wooden doll that can only sit there and bear the brunt of my baton's attacks. Which, it's not a baton, it's a bunch of music. Sagiyama is pissed. He's like, what are you doing? Are you just gonna, like, sit there and fucking take this? You're supposed to fight me and die, and fall before my bamboo sword. And Nana's like, whose side are you on here? She's like, shut up, pipe down, wild monkey. It's bad manners to talk during a performance. Once again, still having the best facial animation. Ryoko's like, everybody keeps fucking running their mouths. Here, Senketsu, just shut off every other sound. Just listen to me. He's like, I would love to do that, but every last life fiber in my body is vibrating to that music, and it sucks. And Ryoko's like, fine. And she starts concentrating. And Nana's like, okay, well, this is the finale. Your fate ends here. Get it? Because she's playing Beethoven's Fate. And she hits with the biggest blast yet. Mako's like, what the fuck? Ryoko. But we watch from this angle with Mako as the beam doesn't go straight forward. Instead, it's being redirected. It's like star patterning out, which in anime means it's hit like a barrier that is deflecting. And Ryoko is like concentrating real hard, to which everybody else is like, well, Nana's like, what? My music isn't ringing out? And Imo was like, no, it's ringing. They're like, what? Well, what's going on? And he's like, well, Matoya is making her own rhythm to counter this perfect. She's making like perfect tone with her own rhythm to counter this. She's altering the frequency of the waves to like match her own, and the impact is getting muddy. She's probably going to like turn that shit back on her. And Mako's like, so what you're saying is Ryoko's really awesome. To which Kamakori is like, huh, she boiled that down way faster than your complicated information. It's pretty good. And he's like, is this what you mean by pure tone? And it was like, that's what I mean by pure stupidity. But we cut back over to Ryoko, and I understand that they're going through the trope of once you're concentrating, your clothes disappear, like, in your mind space. I don't know that they needed to do it, but you know that's what they're doing in the scene that we cut back. She's like, "Can you hear me now, Senketsu?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Is this your heartbeat?" And he's like, "That's right. Ignore every other sound. Just focus on mine." It's and Senketsu's like, "This is the most pleasing sound ever." We cut back over to Nana, who's pissed. She's like, "Why isn't my attack working? This fucking sucks." And Imamura's like, "No, it is way worse than that." We cut back to Ryuko, who's like, "It's time to send it back." And she uncrosses her arms, assumes the Ultraman pose, and creates the life fiber sound negation attack, and drives the beam back. To which Nonon decides to put more energy into it, and they're having a sort of Kai beam battle. Ryuko says, "What is that? I can't hear a single note you're playing." And she puts more energy into her attack and manages to push Nonon back, who's like, "You stinking bitch." Like, it's real good. Honestly, if Ryuko wasn't interested in Lady Satsuki at all, I don't think Nonon would necessarily have a problem with her. We cut to Mako, Imamura, and Gamagori all being shocked, like one by one. First it's Mako going, "What?" And then to Gamagori doing the same thing, and Imamura unzipping his track uniform to make the same face and sound. And he's like, the frequencies that Ryoko's Kamui makes is made from like 100% life fibers, and therefore far more powerful than Jakuzurei's Goku uniform. And her sound is being negated. And I was like, "My Symphony Regalia." This is when Ryuko is finally able to turn her scissor blade into its decapitation mode, using the sound waves that she's creating as a barrier to get close and strip Nonon of her Goku uniform and its life fiber. And this time, Senketsu does absorb those life fibers. It's pretty good.
I really like this whole fight.
It's pretty good.
Like, the first half is really over the top and bombastic. Doesn't just disappoint either.
Yeah. We cut to that same pink parasol girl standing on top of the wall of the academy watching the fight, and she's like, "Oh, that girl's wearing a kamui. I see. That's so cute."
I fucking love this character. She's amazing.
But we cut over to Satsuki, and she's like speaking. She's like, "Did you see that, Lori?" And he's like, "I did. I have located the problem areas in the Shackle Regalia and the Probe Regalia. I am now, beginning the Symphony Regalia examination. That's going to be underway." She's like, "Very good. See to it." Because this fight serves several purposes. One is to see how strong Ryuko is, and two, it's to see where the problems in the Goku uniforms are, so that when they do shit later, they won't have these problems. We then cut to the red-haired biker guy, whose name escapes me, because he only shows up like a couple times, so he's not very important. But he's behind Mitsusuki. He's like, "Let me tell you two useful pieces of information." Fuck. He's like, 1, clothing that develops rips must be taken off. 2, you should also take off that depressing get off. The sooner the better. And Mitsusuki's like, "It's a disguise. It's a disguise. And if I paraded around in front of them in my nude glory, I'd draw attention. I'm keeping up appearances." And that apparently is a good enough answer. But this guy pulls out a bullet that looks like it's made out of life fibers, because it is. He's like, "Here it is, the item that you asked for. It's the only one, so use it carefully." And Mitsusuki's like, "Sorry for making you bring it all this way." And he's like, yeah, whatever. I can't believe I'm going to use this bullet. Is this Matoi that strong? And Mitsu's like, in a mere hours, she's absorbed 3-star Goku uniforms. Compared to the Ryoko you fought before, this is on a whole other level. It does not compare. Mako's like, we cut over to Mako. She's just cheering on the fact that Ryoko won. Nonon is sitting next to Imamura and looking absolutely sullen.
The salt. The salt.
She's just so salty. It was like, I managed to collect some really impressive data with your fight, and Nonon's like, bite me. Next time you butt in, I want to switch out your lenses of your glasses with non-prescription ones. It's really good. I like it. Good. And
very appropriate for characters.
Very appropriate for characters, but Imamura responds with, "Oh, that's fascinating. I'll just file away that bit of snide commentary." Mako turns to Gamagori and says, "Aren't you gonna like chew out Jakuzure for not like showing up here naked?" He's like, "Nope, I'm not that shameless." And she's like, "Oh, I get it. Girls get a free pass." Then we turn over to Sagayami. He's like, "Finally, it's my turn." And Ryoko's like, "Yeah, come fight me. It's not gonna like finish. It's not gonna be like last time. Let's bring that shit on." He's like, "Oh, it wouldn't be you if it was the same. So come on. I want to take you down. You're the woman who made me give up my eyes, and so I've got to fight you with my all." He's like, "I want to take the liberty of putting her down now." And Sasuke's like, "Fine, do whatever you want." And she's like, "Round 4, begin." And he's like, "Sanketsu Shinjin, Sanketsu Shippu, your evolution's amazing to watch, but it's no match for my growth." He's like, "Let's go." And he transforms. And, like, they've made a big deal out of this rematch a lot in this show, which is why what happens next is kind of out of nowhere, and I actually forgot about it before rewatching. This is a red herring. This is like the best red herring of the show. Actually, no, I take that back. This is the second best red herring of the show. Ryoko transforms. And Sagayama's like, "All right, let's go. I would like fuck you up." And they charge at each other, only for the girl with the pink parasol to suddenly be in the middle of their charge. Like, we're going back and forth on this charge. It's very dramatic. And she just kind of like, the way she drops in, it's like there's no animation to it. She's like a still figure that sort of like gets dragged down. It's ridiculous for the level of animation that this show puts out. It's reminds me of Inferno Cop, the way she comes down.
Yeah.
But both Ryoko and Sagayama are like, "What the fuck is this?" And we get a bunch of different characters' eyes all looking shocked, including a big one of Satsuki across the center, who's like, "What the fuck?" Sagayama's like, "Who are you?" And we get a good close-up of this character. And Sasuke's like, "Sagayama, get back. Get back now. Get back right now. Get away from her." And Gamagori's like, "Whoa, she just lost her cool." And Nana was like, "I've never seen that happen before." Mako's like, "Yeah, but this girl who showed up is really cute." Imamura admits that he has no data on who she is. We cut back over to the crowd in front of the TV station, and that's when the TV gets turned off, and Montaro's like, "What? This is just getting good. What's going on?" And the old man's like, "Time's up." He's like, the dad's like, "You lousy skinflint. Come on, honey, give me more money." And she's like, "Nope, I'm sorry, we're flat broke." He's like, "There's no other choice then. Let's roll out, my family." They're like, "Where are we going?" "We're going to go to the academy to watch the fight at the arena. We'll watch this fight finish through any means necessary." We then cut back over to the arena where Ryuko untransforms, and she's like, "Who the hell is this?" And we cut over to Sasuke, who's like, "Why have you come here, Nui Harume?" And we get a big logo of her name, and she just smiles like a cat. It is the way she smiles is inhuman. Is the best way to put that.
Yeah, she's great.
We then cut. There's a lot of like smash cuts in this episode. Over to the Kirin bathhouse, which explodes into rainbows. And this is when a woman with scars all up her back appears out. Her hair is like white except for the undercut, which is also rainbow. She steps into a closet with a bunch of like iridescent white dresses. And she's like, "Which one of you will don my body?" We then cut to the outside. More rainbows as she walks out. She's like, "I'm sorry I'm late." To which her assistant's like, "No, you're not late. You're right on time because, when you're in charge, you make the rules." She's like, "However, the Grand Courtier is currently visiting Hinoji Academy." And she's like, "Yeah, I know." She's like, "You're such a scamp." She's like, "Yeah, but I'm just simply playing along with her whims. It's whatever." And her assistant's like, "Should we head over there?" And she's like, "Nah, we don't need to." She's like, "We're just going to go to the regular worldwide branch meeting. That's fine. Whatever Nui's doing is of no concern to me, more or less." We cut back to Nui with her inhuman smile, and she is now leaning over her own nameplate, which is really good, honestly.
So good.
But she's like, "This isn't fair. You're doing something this fun without telling me. I want in on this." And Sasuke's like, "I'm not obliged to tell you anything." She's like, "Wow, that's real cold. I thought you and I were two hearts beating as one." And she somehow, like, their images are like next to each other. They're still far apart, but she is still reaching through her frame to Satsuki's frame to mess with Satsuki's hair. This, of course, sends Gamagori and Nonon into like a panic. Nonon is in a gay panic. I'm not sure what Gamagori's panic is about. I guess just somebody's touching Satsuki, but
I got opinions.
okay.
I can come to it later.
Okay.
But yeah, Nui does not understand. Nui has absolutely no respect for personal space.
None whatsoever. We cut back to Satsuki, who's actually pushing her hair back into place. So I still don't understand how she reached across the space-time continuum like that. But she did it. And she's like, but Satsuki's like, "Don't be so insincere. You don't associate with anyone." And Nui's like, "You're so breathtaking as ever. Your icy stare, your icy skin. It's simply too much. My fingers are tingling." It's very, very straight. So straight.
Look. As the show goes on, we're going to come to the understanding that Nui is the horniest fucking person on the show.
Yes, person, quote unquote. Sagayama is getting bigger behind Nui. He's like, "Stand aside, woman. I won't tolerate any further interference with my fight with Matoi. I got business here and you're in the way of it." And she's like, "I can't let you do that. After all, I'm going to be the one who's going to fight her." And Ryuko's like, "What?" And he's like, "Fine, I told you not to get in the way." And he like goes to attack her, and she blocks his attack with her parasol. And everybody's like, "What? How did she do that? She doesn't even have a uniform." And Ryoko's like, "Who the hell is this girl?" And Tenketsu's like, "I've got a bad feeling about this." She's like, "You've got a bad feeling?" And Nui's like, "Gosh, this won't do. You're no fun at all." Sake was like, "Okay, well then eat this, my finishing move." And he summons his biggest bamboo stick. To which she just reaches inside his uniform and pulls out his his life fiber thread that holds the whole thing together, and it just absolutely falls apart, and she hits him off the stage, and he falls very similarly to the way she like fell in. She's like, whoops, she fell. And Gabagor's like, how can this happen? Like a 3-star Goku uniform being pulled apart by a single thread. And Nono's like, it's like, come on, Iwamura, how did this happen? Explain to us how this happened. This is exactly your job, to explain things. And he's like, that's impossible. I can't do anything without having data. To which Mako's like, oh, it's the red string of fate, the invisible thread that connects the pinkies of people destined for each other, which is dumb. The way she's leaning in is forcing Iwamura's head to like be tilted to the side. He looks very perturbed. But Nonon's like, where are the pinkies on clothing? And she's like, but it just turned red just now. And she's like, quit bugging me, underachiever. Nui's like, Goku uniform, was it? Lady Sasuke's vaunted combat uniforms. The stitching is a bit weak, don't you think? And Sasuke's like, she severed the banshee, which is another word that they're just throwing at us right now. We cut to Lori. He's like, that's impossible. No one can sever the banshee at a glance. And no one can spot the banshee at a glance and then sever it in an instant. That's insane. Inconceivable. He's like, the banshee is the life fiber that has been imbued with the will to become a Goku uniform. It's the key thread that holds it all together. Its multiple layers of defense act to prevent it from being pulled apart. Even when Matoi's Kamui absorbs life fibers, the banshee is the very last one to go. Like, it's the most important thing. It's inconceivable, that she could have pulled it out in an instant and cut it. And I guess everybody's getting this explanation because Mako, we cut back over to her. She's like, see, it really is the red thread of fate. And Hanalon's like, don't pat yourself on the back, underachiever. And she's like, it's Mako. Mako, whatever her last name is. She's like, I may be an underachiever, but... Gosh, what did she say? That went by too quickly for me. Her name is Mako Manchiko. I may be an underachiever, but I do have a name. To which Kabagori says, you voluntarily admit to being an underachiever? She's like, that's the spirit. It's so weird. Sagayama is hanging by a bamboo stick. And he's like, who is this woman? And we cut over to the red-haired guy and Mitsusugi, who are like, oh, we've got like a real bigwig on our head. That's a Grand Courtier from Revox. Nobody like, honestly, nobody ever like sees her around everywhere. She's like, the office's high order tailor. She's the one who, like, in other words, the one who sent her here is none other than Revox's top dog and Satsuki's mother, Ragyo Kurian. They're like, oh man, this is getting more complicated by the minute. That's not good. We come over to Nui. He's like, come on, you're fine with this, right? I could go fight her. And she's like, and Satsuki's like, when have you ever needed my permission to do anything? She's like, yeah, that's true, but I've never disobeyed you, have I? And Ryuko's like, whatever, let's just fucking fight. I don't give a shit who it is. Sasuke, Kirin, I don't care if I have to go through her to get to you. I don't care who she is. I'm going to do it. I want to fight her and do it. And Sasuke's like, suit yourself. And she sits down to get... And she's given some tea by her butler. She's like, calm yourself. And she's like, God, for Nui to show up at all times like this, how very like her. And the butler's like, you mean Mistress Ryago? And she's like, who else could it be? He's like, it's in your hands now, Ryoko. Like, I can't do shit about this. The title card changes from Ryoko versus Sagayama to Ryoko versus Nui. And she's like, where's your Goku uniform? And she's like, I don't need to wear fucking shit like that. She's like, that's enough about me. Just show me your Kamui. Let's get it on. And she like just appears right behind Ryoko, and which surprises her. She's like, are you holding back because I'm dressed like this? Don't I just defeated that Goku uniform. Now you solved that. Come on, you don't have to hold back. She's like, I can cut loose with your Kamui's power, so you can cut loose with your Kamui's power all you want. She's like, having trouble? In that case, I'll show you something really neat. And she pulls out a purple scissor blade, which is similar to Ryoko's red scissor blade. And she reveals that, because Ryoko's like, wait a minute, she's like, yep, that's the other half of your scissor blade. I pulled it off your dad because I'm the one who fucking stabbed him. She's like, it was you? You did? She's like, yep, it was me. I stabbed your dad. I killed him. It was, which is, it's really weird because, I mean, you can change your hairstyle, whatever, but her hairstyle is super different. Like, galaxies different than what it was in that flashback. Like, it's all straight cut. It looks very much like Satsuki's hair in that flashback. We just watch them stare back and forth at each other as Nui gets another different kind of inhuman smile. She's very creepy.
Yeah.
Ryoko's so mad and squeezing her fist so hard that the activation for her Kamui pops out of its glove, and she is bleeding from her mouth. And we just cut on this episode of Ryoko screaming "bitch" at Nui, and that's how the episode ends.
I fucking love this episode.
It's a good episode.
So we've got the wrap up to the Satsuki Jukuzure fight, which is great. Got a ton of great gags. We've got this setup of the second rematch between Ryuko and Sanagiyama, but then Nui just pimps in and ruins everything.
Yep, absolutely.
And it's like, it's also because, it's been implied that Satsuki is the one who killed Ishin Matoi. Mm-hmm. But we find out that is not true. It is this new character who Satsuki does not get along with.
No.
And it's just this whole thing of like, you thought it was Shonen Tournament arc, but it was I, plot twist villain.
True. Very true.
I knew his attack is great. It's wholesale lifted from Magical Girl anime.
It feels more like it's lifted from Sentai. I feel like the twist villain is more of a Sentai thing.
No, I mean her outfit, like her aesthetic.
Oh yeah, her aesthetic, absolutely.
Because I've mentioned before, Kill la Kill, and I've actually went into a big rant about this on Tumblr recently. Kill la Kill is Magical Girl plus Shonen plus Super Sentai.
Absolutely. Oh, sorry for the big yawn there.
Yeah. Nui Harame is a great character. She's a really fun antagonist because she's an asshole who doesn't really care about anything, but she's always chipper as fuck. And I will admit to one of my favorite character archetypes being, violent blonde yanderes. Look, I watched Xena as a kid.
Fair enough.
There was this character called Callisto. Yeah. And that is one of two fictional characters I saw as a child that ruined me for life.
So you said that you had opinions about Nonon and Gamagori's freak out.
All right, so
let's hit that.
It's very clear that Satsuki has a very dominant personality and a very close relationship with all four of her kind of underlings.
I mean, I don't know about close with all of them. Her and Inamuda don't seem that close at all.
Yeah, if there's one that she's the least, but like, If there's one that she interacts with the least, it might be Inamuda, because he's usually just working.
Fair enough.
But like all four of them have absolute undying loyalty and dedication, and as cold as Satsuki usually is to most people, she's at least somewhat warm to all of them.
Fair enough.
And there's some interesting kind of character dynamics between them. Like Jakusri has an interesting dynamic with Inamuda and Sanagiyama. Gamagori is an interesting dynamic with Sanagiyama. And I don't know if this is probably not the intention, but if you ask me, it's sort of it's definitely a polycule type arrangement. Satsuki is clearly the center of it. She's clearly a very dominant personality,
Mm-hmm.
and it clearly revolves around her. But there's definitely interrelationships going on between all of them, and Inamuda is probably also fucking Yori. Like, the five of them are a relationship, is all I'm saying.
I see.
And this is actually this is relevant for something at the end of the series, but I will come back to it.
All right. All in all, pretty fun episode.
Yeah. And the one that comes up next is even better. Ryuko evolves into Skull Greymon.
Spoilers. But yeah, that does happen. I think that's all I have to talk about this week.
Yeah. I don't really know what to say. This is one of my favorite episodes of the series. It's a lot of fun. It highlights a lot of the stuff that I really like about the show. We had a big plot twist, which is the only important plot twist in the entire series, and there will be no more. There will be no more.
Sure. All I can say is if you're shipping enemies to lovers for Ryuko and Satsuki, sorry for you. It's okay. I was there.
People still do, but they're weird.
They're weird. So, Doc, where can people find you online if they want to talk to you about stuff?
Let's see. I am on Twitter way too much, especially since the pandemic. I am at Dr. C Monster. That is at DRC Monster. Come and see me vague post about how much I like yandere characters.
All right, then. You can find me, as always, on Twitter at DatFirePrincess, spelled D-A-T. You can find me on my numerous podcasts. You can find me all over online. Just follow the Dat. Because it's my handle. I'm probably never going to change it. It's my brand. Yeah, and I think that's it. So, until next time, don't lose your way.
Don't lose your way.
Bye.
Bye.
Ha, they say that my rise to the top is long overdue. I'm just trying to cop a 3-star Goku suit. A better yet, it's Senketsu that fits over loose. Equipped with a life fiber microphone, my flow the truth. Don't let these haters rule over you like the student council. Cause if they see you making moves, then they'll never doubt you. Keep that scissor blade sharper than a surgeon's scalpel. I'm hungry like a back alley docky and by the mouthful.